Hey friends and family, welcome back to Open Hearts Conversations. And if this is your first time here, I am so glad that you have found your way into this space. And if you've been listening for a while, thank you for coming back. It really means a lot. So this is a series that I am calling Where It's Safe to Land. It is a soft landing space for questions that we are learning to ask, and also feelings that we haven't fully made sense of. Now, today's conversation is about something that is so simple, but also can be quite complex, and that is listening without trying to fix. I know it sounds easy, but it is actually one of the hardest things to do, especially when you care about someone. Because when someone that you love is struggling, I think our natural instinct is to want to help. You want to make it better. You want to do something to help them solve the issue that they're going through. And it makes sense. It makes sense that we think like that because it's what we've been taught: to solve problems, to respond, to have the right answers, to offer advice. But I think sometimes the most powerful thing that we can offer is just our presence, not advice, not giving solutions, just our presence, and that being enough. So there's something that I just want to share. There is a creator that I've been following for quite some time now, and his name is Joseph. His Instagram handle is a bit difficult to pronounce, but I will try it, at Okunta Kinte. I hope that I'm saying that correct. I hope I'm not butchering his name, but he is an artist. He is a writer, and for a while he's been sharing about his journey, and he's living with treatment-resistant bipolar. Now, I think a few months ago in December, if I'm not mistaken, he shared that he made a decision to legally end his life through euthanasia. And he's doing this in the Netherlands, and that process is legal there. So right now he's still waiting for approvals, and he's been sharing his journey online and just some of the things that he's been engaging in while he waits for this decision. And I mean, it's a lot. And to be honest, it really shook me, and it made me think about friendship. It made me think about love and what it means to walk with someone who's actually going through a pain that you cannot fix. I asked myself, what if I was his friend, if I was his sister, or someone who's really close to him? How could I show up for him? What would I do? What would I say? Would I try to convince him to stay? Would I list all the things that make life worth living? And when I think about that, would I be doing that to also shield myself or to comfort myself, because of that fear of losing a person that I love? Would I be able to sit next to him just in his truth, being able to listen without trying to change his mind or try to change anything? How can we be with people when there's nothing that we can say to make things better? How do we do that? I think we all have this urge to do something. Whenever an uncomfortable situation comes, we always want to do something. We want to cheer the person up. We want to affirm them. We say things like, oh, it'll get better. Look at the bright side. At least you still have this and you still have that. And unfortunately, that's not what the person needs. Sometimes people just need to hear their own voice, And I say this because it's true for myself too. Sometimes I just need to say things out loud Sometimes people just need to cry and let it out. Sometimes people just need to sit in just the silence and process their own thoughts. And it's through things like talking or even just the silence and the stillness that a person is able to find their own clarity, to find their own direction and find their own answers. Not because you are able to solve anything, but your presence and you being there actually offers them the safety where they can be able to now explore their own journey. And it's something that I've shared before, that people are the experts of their own lives. And sometimes it's not our input that they require necessarily, but for us to be there and to stay. So people don't necessarily need advice. They need a witness, someone who's able to say, hey, I hear you, or that actually makes sense, and that sounds really hard. And it's not about having the perfect words to say, but because you're there and your presence is actually enough. So I want to offer you a few things that I am learning. I'm still learning about how to listen without trying to fix. And the first one is to pause before responding. You don't have to rush in with your words. Just allow for their words to actually land. The second one is to validate instead of solving. So validate their feelings, validate their words. Tell them, that sounds heavy. Thank you for trusting me with that. I don't know what to say, but I am here. Ask them what they need. Sometimes I'll say things like, would you like to vent, or are you actually looking for advice? And I think that inquiry and being able to ask that small question, it can actually change the entire vibe of the conversation that you're having. The next one is to not interrupt their process. I think sometimes we can be listening, but not attentively enough, because we are so quick we're already formulating a response in our head. So you don't need to fix their pain. It's just for you to stay present with them. So that's my offering to you in terms of how you can be able to listen without trying to fix. This is for anyone who wants to be able to hold space better. Anyone who's learning to not jump into trying to fix things. And anyone who's also just trying to figure out how to be there. Just be fully present in your imperfect way. And so in this moment, I just want to invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose and out. You don't have to fix anyone today. You don't have to have all the right words. You just have to be here with yourself and with those that you love. And that's enough. So if this resonated with you, please do send it for someone who is also learning how to hold space. And in the next episode, we are going to talk about how to be there for a grieving friend. The silence there, I don't know what to say moments, and when words just don't seem enough. We're going to explore all of that. And so until then, please take care of your heart and remember that you're allowed to land gently too. Okay, I love you. Bye.